Do we live in a simulation? In the light, what Jesus is revealing right now through his end-time prophets regarding us living in a simulation, the earthly realms being a simulation, and also God comparing it to the computer game, I wanted to bring to you a result of a certain experiment. The result of this experiment may be proving just that. But before we go further, you can find Mandi, which is God's main vessel for the times as this, at Seek Heavenly Things. God is revealing through her all the mysteries that were sealed in Daniel 12:4 that the world is ready for now. It all comes down to the dual nature of a light. Sometimes it's a wave and sometimes it's a particle. It all comes down to quantum physics, but don't worry, it's quite easy to understand. Stick with me. The dual nature of the light was discovered in an experiment that was called two-slit experiment. I will explain it in a nutshell, but I will also play a video, guys, so you can have it in depth. I'm not a scientist, guys, so just bear with me, I'm doing my best. They had source of light and they had one slit and they saw how the light was acting, and they had slide with two slits and they saw how the light was acting as it was landing, guys, on the screen. And they were like, yay, the light is a wave. But bear with me, the interesting part starts now. They accidentally discovered something here. When they tried to measure in real time and observe how is the light acting going through two slits, the light suddenly started acting as particles. So as soon as they put any camera there or observed with their own eyes, the light started acting differently. It stopped behaving as a wave but started behaving as a concrete object, particle. So basically, when you do not observe the light, it's a wave of possibilities. But the moment you observe it, it takes a concrete shape, becomes a particle. So just think now about computer games. If anybody played a computer game knows that the computer doesn't load the entire game, but only the parts that you are in, only the worlds you are in, that you're observing. If you turn your player a certain way, you can see the word is loading, right? And sometimes it's glitching. It's because the computer is never loading the unnecessary parts of the word that you're not in, you're not currently using. Let's look at a video.
Remember one of the most famous experiments in the history of physics, the experiment of Thomas Young, the double-slit experiment. It was a real coup in physics and led many scientists into the study of quantum mechanics. If you throw solid balls and a shield with a slit cut into it, a single diffuse strip designating the strike points will appear on the screen behind the shield. If there are two slits in the shield, then there will be two strips. But how will waves behave if aimed at the shield? They will pass through the slot and spread out. The greatest impact of the waves will be in the line of the slit, as in the case with the balls. But if you add a second slit, everything changes. A number of alternating interference strips will appear on the projection screen. And when we shine light on the two strips, this is exactly what happens. And this is how Mr. Young proved the wave theory of light. If light were corpuscular, like a particle, instead of wave-like, it would behave like the balls, and the screen would show two strips of light corresponding to the two slits. That didn't happen. Later, it turned out that electrons and protons behave exactly the same way, showing that they also seem to exist as waves and not as points. There was one assumption that perhaps light and the others were particles, and that somehow the particles bumped into each other and flew apart. So, to test this, physicists decided to shoot electrons at the target one by one, single file. And what do you think happened? The strangest thing imaginable. The interference pattern still appeared on the screen. It seemed that the single electrons somehow divided into two waves, passed through both slits, then interfered with themselves. Impossible. So physicists tried to find out through which gap the electron actually passes. They installed measuring instruments to check this. Another seeming impossibility occurred. The electrons stopped behaving like waves and began acting like particles, and left a trace on the screen of two distinct strips with no interference. They had to admit something completely mind-blowing. that the fact of our observation or measurement destroyed the wave function of the photons, causing them to become like points, corpuscular. The electron, under the influence of observation, behaved like a particle flying through one slit and not through two. Interpretations. Well, it certainly looks like the work of a game engine, doesn't it? This might make you think that our world is running like a game on a computer. The computer's power is not enough to calculate the motion of each and every particle, so it uses a simplified model and applies precise calculations only if an observer needs to look at the particle.
So the dual nature of the light, depending whether we're looking or not, may be just the proof we need that our world is a simulation, just like Jesus is saying through his end-time prophets, guys. The world is constantly buffering and loading itself seamlessly wherever you look. Almost seamlessly, because there are cases where there was some glitches, and guys, you can explore it yourself. We are living in a very real, very high quality computer program / simulation. Food for the thought, guys, and check out what Jesus is saying through his end-time prophets now, as he's preparing the world for the great harvest, for the rapture, many raptures that are going to come onto the world. After all, Jesus, after the Last Supper, just before he went to the garden, he said that he has so much to reveal, but they will not be able to comprehend all those things. I believe this was one of those things, guys, that Jesus is revealing right now. John 16:11. Check it out. Love you. Pray about everything, bring it to Jesus.